Thinking about leaving your soul sucking 9 to 5 job? One of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So cool, right? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You're listening to the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast, episode number 8. In this episode, I got a chance to sit down and talk with Barbara DeLigio to discuss leveling up your life with a leap of faith. Barbara DeLigio is a marathon runner, licensed pharmacist, and a minister. Her true calling is personal coaching. As an executive director with the John Maxwell team, her passion and purpose is to help others reach God's purpose and vision through coaching and training in leadership and DISC behavioral styles. That's DISC behavioral styles. Through thoughtful questioning, Barbara helps her clients discover God's true plan for them, a fuller, more enriched life beyond the self-imposed limitations. Learn how to thrive within 7 mountains of influence: family, business, government, religion, media, art, and education. Barbara's wealth of experience and strong relationship with the Lord will assist you in not just surviving within these arenas, but truly living within them. Let's dive in. Tired of staring at blank pages and don't know what to do? Or you completed your manuscript and now what? My name is C.S. Dorsey of HelloCSDorsey.com, and I coach writers and authors with the writing and self-publishing process. I wrote my book in 3 months. Yes, 3 months. It took dedication, discipline, and time management. After 3 months of writing and 3 months of editing, I submitted my book to tons of literary agents who said no or just didn't say anything at all. So I went to my best friend Google. My goal is to help, teach, and motivate writers to take that leap to become a self-published author. It will be a dream come true. Okay, thank you, Barbara, so much for being on today. Can you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Oh, thank you, Candice, for having me today. I'm Barbara DeLigio. I'm an executive director with the John Maxwell team. I'm a coach, transformational coach, and I deal with leaders to raise leaders, to edify them, to teach them. And leadership is just influence. So the way I view people is everybody leads, because we lead in family, we lead in ministry, we can lead in our business, and so we lead our friends. So it's all about leadership.
Right. So, random question. What was your favorite toy growing up? I know this is the holiday season at the time that we're recording this podcast, but not at the time that we're going to actually air it. But I like to throw random questions in there. So what was your favorite toy growing up?
Oh my God, I'm going to give away my age. Well, I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 51. So my favorite toy back then was a Cher doll.
Oh,
A Cher, but it was like instead of Barbie, it was a Cher, and that was my favorite toy.
a Cher doll. Oh,
Yeah.
can you explain a little bit more about that? Like, did it have like?
It was like a Barbie, but it was just like Cher, and she had like this very sexy. Which now I think about it, I'm like, for a 7, 8, 9-year-old, that was kind of sexy back then.
Oh, Cher, the singer.
Yeah, the singer. Yeah, the singer. Yeah, it shows you that how old I am.
Oh my God, I did not know she had a doll. Seriously.
Yeah, back in the 70s, back in the 70s, there was a doll share.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I don't
goodness.
know if Sony was available as well. I don't know because I only got the share. Because in Puerto Rico, basically, I was raised by my grandparents, and we were we weren't poor, but for example, one Christmas they gave me a calculator, a Texas Instrument calculator, so I wasn't privileged like that.
Oh wow. Oh, now you know what? Now my curiosity is growing even more. Now I'm gonna have to Google search it. Oh my goodness, they really did keep that a secret, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Oh my goodness. So can you tell us more about Thriving Life LLC?
Thriving Life is a vision that was a dream and a vision that God gave me. And I'm a minister, and that's my first passion to minister. And ministering and coaching basically go hand in hand. I'm going to be honest with you, they really do, because the way that I have always ministered and disciple people have been straight to the heart, coming
Mm-hmm.
from the heart. So the Lord connected me with the John Maxwell team, and that's where my passion even started burning even more to coach people to retrieve that potential that is within them, because everybody has a potential. Everybody is designed and created with a purpose. And there are many people out there that they do not know what their talents are and gifts. They really don't. And once you start coaching them, it's like, their eyes, it's like their mind gets illuminated on why they've been struggling sometimes for many years. And it's because there's frustration and they feel overwhelmed with where they are at the moment. And it's because they're being called to do something completely different. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my passion. That's what, but for my first job, I'm a pharmacist. I'm a licensed pharmacist for Publix Pharmacy, in corporate here in Florida. And, but my passion is coaching and ministry.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of deviate a little bit. So when people come to you and ask, to basically they need help finding what their passion is, what is that process like? Do you ask them questions, or you just more try to find out more about what they're led to do or what they're interested in?
Yes, usually what happens is first is there's a breakthrough session.
Mm-hmm.
I get a feel for them to see where they are at that moment and what is it that they want. Because, some people, they may start wanting, no, I want to start a business, or I want to have more free time, or I want to level up in my company. And after a breakthrough session, things may switch around. It says, you know what? No, I need to know why is it that I feel the way that I feel. So basically, as coaches, all we do is through questioning. Is through questioning, because there's a difference between coaching and mentoring. I mentor as well. But mentoring is me teaching you, training you, telling you, advising you. It's like an advisor. In coaching, basically, we do it strictly through questioning. So I just I'll start asking certain questions according to what is it that you're looking for, what is it that you actually want in your life. And as you answer, it's like questions just start popping up, and it's through a feel. It's through a feel. It's basically we flow through intuition and discernment.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you mentioned Level Up, and that's actually the theme for January 2020. I'm very excited about 2020. I don't know why.
I know. It should be a
I guess
very
new
good year for me.
new decade, new it's time to do something new, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
So the theme is time to level up, how to reach your goals in 2020. What tips can you give us today on how to level up in our business, life, health? It can definitely be our spiritual as well for 2020.
Well, basically everybody knows what they need to do.
Hmm.
There is, because it is within us. It is, and that's through coaching. That's what we do, because all the answers are within us. The potential is within us. And I very basic. I tell people all you need to do is start writing out your vision. Start casting vision. Start casting your dream out, and you have to start by writing it out. And all coaches will tell you that. They will. And but then you have to be intentional. If you
Right.
start casting out vision, you start writing it out, and ideas are going to start popping up in your mind. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the spirit within you, just bringing it up to your consciousness. So you have to start writing that out, but then you have to be disciplined and you have to be intentional on what is it that you need, what tools and resources do you need to equip yourself with that vision. And what happens is a lot of people, they don't want to discipline themselves. They don't want to equip themselves. Some other people, if they have a scarcity mentality, they'll be like, oh, I don't have the money. I'm like, but if you go step by step, by the time you go to the last step, you reach the last step of your vision, providence will come. It will be provided because it's not our dream. It is our creator's dream through you, flowing through you. So it's intentionality, it's persevering. So you have to persevere
Mm-hmm.
because our emotions they betray us. One day, especially women, one day we're up, one day we're down, depending on our hormones flow, depending on what happens. And if we're not healed from our emotions, our past emotions, and restored from our past emotions, that is the number one block from basically casting the vision and moving forward. It is. And that is something that I deal with, not me personally, but in coaching, that there's a lot of blockage, emotional blockage, because the emotional intelligence hasn't leveled up to the level where their consciousness, which is their thinking man, is taking them. So if you're not mature to persevere and endure from that vision, you're not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. So we have to be honest with ourselves. We will have to be transparent with ourselves because our soul betrays us. Our emotions betray us all the time.
That's true.
And, yeah, they betray us. And you have to be, it comes through thoughts. So we have to, first of all, take captive all vain imaginations. We have to take captive all thoughts that they don't add to the vision or the dream that we want to, we want to impart in, we want to walk out. And it's faith. Everything goes by faith. We walk by faith and not by sight. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard, but everything that we do, it's a learning experience, whether we fail or win.
That is so true. I can attest to that, especially the doing things based on emotion, especially us women, because one day I'm like, and then they say,
Yeah,
well, why
we're
are
like
you
the
talking to me like that? But no,
yeah.
it's the truth. And the mindset that you stated as well. And I hear that a lot, and I realize that a lot. If I want to do something, I have to get into that mindset. But first, I need to stop and I need to pray, because oftentimes we keep doing things and we keep doing things, and it's not in the will of the Lord. And we're like, why is this not happening?
Exactly.
Because we didn't ask him. It's
Exactly.
like, it's like you say, hey, Lord, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do, but I want to know if it's in your will or not. You'll know it's in his will if things start working for you. But oftentimes we try to make things happen, and it's just not in the will of the Lord. So then you have to step back and say to yourself, okay, did I ask the Lord before I decided to do this thing? And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why I brought that up.
And you know what it is, Candice? What happens, because just yesterday I was training a group of leaders, ministerial leaders, on paradigm shifting, because we hear that a lot from the pulpits, and we hear a lot of leaders out there say, "Oh, you got a paradigm shift, but they don't explain what paradigm is.
Yeah.
Paradigm is just in your, you have your conscious, your subconscious, and it's basically as a believers, is our old nature. I call it my Eve. So my paradigm is it's a group of habits that we have learned and behaviors that we have learned since we were babies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sitting there. And sometimes we're not even aware of it, because your subconscious it's a program, is an old program, is our old nature. So now we have the mind of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So what the mind of Christ does, he will activate and he will give it, he will show it to you in visions. If you don't hear his voice, he will see it in dreams.
Right.
He will confirm that through somebody, but he is not going to lead you blindly. He
That's
will
right.
not.
That's right.
So if you have a desire in your heart and a dream, it is Abba's passion, is Abba's desire.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now we have to discern. We have to discern. and see, okay, what is it, Lord? What is the next step? Because
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to lead you blindly. He will not. I've learned that, my God, the hard way in the beginning. I will do a lot of things that, because I wanted to serve. I love to
Yes.
serve. I'm a server.
Yes.
I'm a fire of the body of Christ. So I just wanted to serve. And I was doing a lot of dead works, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of dead works inside
Yes.
ministry and outside. And the Lord has started correcting me and saying, not everything that comes your way is serving me, and it's not serving your vision and the dream that I have designed for your life. So sometimes what happens is we need to let go.
Yes.
We just need to let go of certain things. And it's hard because, especially when we have to let go of people, because not
Yes.
everybody know and understands our vision or our dream. And they're not, because and then they may not understand it because it is not for them. It is for us,
You're right. Right.
It is for us. And Paul clearly states, do not consult with flesh and blood. When the
Yes.
Holy Spirit when the Christ was revealed within him, he ran to Arabia. He ran with Arabia with Christ for 3 years by himself. He did not go to consult with the apostles in Jerusalem.
No.
That's how he got the revelation of grace. And
Right.
that's exactly what we need to do. We need to first start with, what is it that you want, Father? What is it that you want from us?
That's right. Wow, you're gonna have me go on a tangent here.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Because I love it. This is masterminding. I love masterminding.
I mean, seriously, I could talk about, I could talk about the Lord and the Bible, and I could talk about it for days and days and
Oh
hours
yeah,
and hours.
it's a living water.
Yes, it
It's an
is.
eternal river of life. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
And it's so awesome because it's so nice to find other believers and others out there that are like you, and just, it's like, oh, Candace, you're not alone. You can talk about this because there's so much going on, in social media, and people, not believing in anything anymore, and
Yeah,
you can tell they don't believe in anything by the way that they're acting, they're doing, and
yeah,
it's all over the
yeah.
place.
And it's not their fault. It's not.
Exactly.
Remember, it's like we're saying, oh, they're heathens, they're secular, they're from the world, but that's where the Lord has called us. That's our mandate. There's
That's
something.
right.
There's something called the 7 mountains of influence. And it is a mountain. The 7 mountains, what is it? It's family, business, religion, government, media, arts, and education. So those are the mountains of influence that are outside in society, and that's what God is calling us out to influence it. Whether
That's
it
right.
is, through coaching, whether it is through writing, but we have kept the mentality of the body of Christ, is we have kept everything within the 4 walls, and He's expanding us. The spirit within us, it's always expanding, always growing, always moving. And that's why so many people are frustrated, overwhelmed, and even depressed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anxiety and worry inside the body of Christ. And I'm talking about people that have such talents and gifts to give to the world.
Yes.
And it's because they don't know, but it's also because of how they've been indoctrinated.
That's true.
Religion does that. Yeah.
That's true.
Religious mindsets do that. A lot of control and manipulation, and we need to break out of that. Our own mindset needs to break out of that,
That
but
is
only
so
the Lord.
true.
Yeah, only through the guidance of the Lord.
Yes. Okay. Next question. I'm trying to stay on track.
Yes,
It's so
yes,
hard.
yes. Yeah, because He's eternal, and He'll bring us down the rabbit hole.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Oh my goodness. So, if you know then what you know now, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago?
Wow. Well, 10 years ago, I was going through so much. I lost my first husband from cancer, and
Oh no.
wow. And I didn't want to deal with ministry, but you know what? The way I see things, I don't think I would have changed things, because the way I have learned has been through life experiences. If you study Second Corinthians, this will set you free. 2 Corinthians 11, completely read the whole thing. Is the tribulations of Paul, of what Paul went through. How many times he was, they gave him lashes, how many times he was in prison, how many times he was shipwrecked, everything that he went through, how people abandoned him, how they left him, they thought he was dead 3 times, and 3 times basically he will get up and go preaching, and teaching. And I don't think I would have changed anything, because everything has been a learning experience, and God has told me that. And that has to do also with the sovereignty of Abba. When we start understanding his sovereignty and his dominion and authority over his body, um, he allows everything. He allows everything. So I'm going to be honest with you and transparent, because grace has made me transparent. I don't think there's anything that I will change, because I have learned and I have grown and I have matured. It's all about maturity. It's all about coming to a level of maturity in your spirit.
That's right. That's beautiful.
And only through the process of life is when we mature.
That's right.
It's hard to hear that. They don't teach and preach that. We go from glory to glory, but glory, we have the hope of glory, correct? Which is Christ in us.
Right.
So to go to the next glory, which means basically for him to give us more illumination and understanding of who he is in us, we have to go to the two. In the glory to glory, in that two, there's a valley.
That's right. And boy, is it deep.
Yeah, there's a valley. And we had to go through that valley. Jesus went through a valley. All the apostles, everybody that you see in the Bible, all the characters in the Bible, they all went through valleys. So, but then you see the outcome, there's always an outcome after that valley. So no, I wouldn't have changed anything. Because everything was written before the foundations of the world. So no. Mm-mm.
And it's so funny you mentioned about the disciples and everybody who came before us and everything that they went through. Also that they went through, we're not going through anything compared to what they went through. So it's like, it's one of the things, like when I'm having a bad day or when I feel that things aren't going right, I think about that and I say, Candace, you're not going through anything. This is, meat and potatoes compared to what they went through.
Yeah.
So suck it up and move on throughout the day.
I'm telling you, 2 Corinthians 11, that man, I'm like, and I can imagine that Paul himself, he must have looked like a hot mess.
Yeah.
In one of the letters, he actually says, basically, because you see me insignificant and I may look weak, but I come with the power of the word and the power of the resurrection. So, they were just emphasizing in the Christ in him, but physically he looked like a hot mess.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he did. I love his writing. I love his letters, his teaching, everything, because the way he wrote things so as though you cannot error. It's straightforward. You know what he's talking about. It is nothing hidden behind what Paul wrote. Okay. So it's like,
And isn't it beautiful how he realized he was in prison, and the most powerful epistles that he wrote was when he was in prison.
Isn't that amazing?
So, for all the writers out there right now, and this is something that is flowing from my spirit right now, you may feel like you're in a prison, in a mental prison. It may not be a physical, but what happens is when our emotions feel imprisoned and mentally we feel tormented and overwhelmed and frustrated and depressed and anxious and worried, that all comes from fear.
Yes.
It all comes from fear. And the word clearly states that the love of the Father pushes away all fear from our hearts. So you need to then emphasize in the love of Abba and ask him, say, Lord, why is it that I feel like this? And he will reveal it to you. But in those moments of torment, of mental torment, that's when you may flow the most in writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're writing from your spirit, what your spirit is expressing, even though your soul is tormented, but our spirit is perfect in Christ, Ephesians 1. We're sitting in heavenly realms. So as he gives you a download and ideas and visions to write it out, your soul may be in the most tormented state at the moment, but the Christ is perfect. So just take that pen and start writing. Start writing.
You hear that, everyone? Just start writing.
Yeah,
that's the end of my on my each one of my podcasts. I say just keep writing.
So there you go.
You confirmed it. Just keep writing.
Keep writing and don't stop.
That's right. So what's next for Barbara?
Oh my God! Right now, so what is next? I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, I'm going through a health process. I need to have surgery. I became a vegan, and I used to love eating. I'm a meat eater. I'm a meat eater. I'm a meat lover. And I had to transition everything to vegan. And I mean, I'm a marathon runner as well. So I needed to stop that now for some time because of the surgery that I'm going to go through. But, and at the same time, the Lord is making, in the middle of this whole physical process, he's making me start a virtual business for entrepreneurs and business. And it's been a struggle because I'm not a technical person. So I had to hire people. And this is for anybody out there that, oh my God, I'm not technical, but you know what? With his guidance, he will connect you divinely with people that were going to help you.
That's
and
right.
He did. So I have people that are helping me to do this funnel, and I'm spending the money. I'm spending, but he's providing. As I'm spending, he's providing. And he tells me, just keep walking, take the next step. Because what happens is we take one step and we're in the river, we're like crossing the Jordan.
Yes.
And then we slowly we take the next step, and before you know it, you're maybe like waist deep, and you only have maybe a couple of more steps to go to the other end. And as we're halfway, a little current comes and moves us a little bit more, and then we run back. And that's what I saw him. And he says, no, you have to keep moving forward. So that's what I'm doing.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm just laying on him. It's all by grace, right? It's all by grace. It's
Everything.
all by grace. So whether it works out or it doesn't matter, because I learned. It was a learning experience. Because the Lord is still connecting me, to my passion. Is not so much virtual. I wanted to do the virtual courses so that we have more freedom from my corporate job, and I can start giving more to the community and do events, because I do events for women, for healing, restoration, coaching, and all that. And but the Lord is still connecting me to a lot of people in my community and locally to train them and coach them. So either way, I win.
That's good. So tell us about your promotion that you have for our listeners out there.
Right now, the promotion, I am kind of like gonna stand still. But if they want to have breakthrough sessions, because my main promotion in my website is for professionals, corporate and businesses and entrepreneurs. But if they want to have a breakthrough session, I can give them a 45-minute breakthrough session. And all they have to do is go to barbaradeligio.com/apply. And you can pick a time slot there, and I'll give you a breakthrough session for free. And we'll take it from there. And I'm doing that because the Lord's putting it in my heart. Because I struggle. I'm like, Lord, but I'm not going to have the time. But he goes, do it. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to come from it. So that's awesome.
You don't know. And you don't know who needs. And I am such a giver. I'm always giving. And that's something that the Lord had to break that from me, of always doing everything. Everything that I did was for free. My coaching, everything from John, I was just giving it away. And I noticed that people weren't taking responsibility. And he told me sometimes when people do not invest, they don't value. What they don't invest in, they don't value. And he said, you know what? And when you don't accept, because people will even give me love offerings and I wouldn't even accept them. And he says, that's prideful. So he broke that for me. He said, and that's a scarcity mentality. And when I started thinking back, I'm going, my God, yeah, that's a poverty mentality. So that needed to be broken from my mindset. And it was a struggle. But I'm a giver. I love to give, because it doesn't matter how much you sow, you're always going to reap. You're always going to reap. That's so for all the listeners, a free breakthrough session, 45 minutes, and we'll take it from there. And maybe it will just be only for that time to just give them an idea and just activate something in them.
That's awesome. It really is. So do you have any last minute advice for our listeners out there?
Yes. Be obedient. Be persistent. This is a race. It's like a marathon. You have to endure. You have to continue running with endurance. Don't look back. Do not look back. Because what happens is when you look back, what happened to Lot's wife? And sometimes we cannot move forward if we're looking back, because then basically it's like you're walking backwards. You're walking backwards, and we have to push. We're believers. We have the Christ in us. He's the one that leads us. So just look only for his guidance, and do not consult with flesh and blood. but you have to push and you have to be disciplined and intentional.
I love it. So where so where can everyone so where can everyone find you?
Well, they can go into Barbara Perez Deligio, Barbara Perez, Perez Deligio, Deligio. They can befriend me there, or they can message me. And if they want a breakthrough session, just for them to just fill out the slot on barbaradeligio.com/apply. And I'm here to serve.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being
Oh,
on
thank you,
today's
Candace.
show, and thank you for. I honestly thought that you was on the West Coast time, and
Really? No,
I was like, she's gonna get up early too. I
no.
was gonna have a
But I
friend.
wake up. Well, usually I wake up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember to go to hellocsdorsey.com and sign up to receive the latest episodes, writing tips, and more. Until next time, keep on writing. Take care.